You've been working towards something for a long time, and you're close, closer than you've ever been. And instead of feeling excited, you feel a strange, uncomfortable pull in the opposite direction. You miss the deadline that was almost within reach. You pick a fight with the person helping you. You suddenly discover urgent reasons to do something else. And afterward, you tell yourself it just wasn't the right time. But it was. You weren't sabotaged from outside. You sabotaged yourself. And the reason is something almost nobody talks about, a fear so counterintuitive that most people who have it don't know it has a name: the fear of success. Before we go further, let's establish what this is not. This is not laziness. Lazy people don't get close enough to success to sabotage it. This is not low ambition. People with fear of success often have enormous ambition, and that's part of the problem. And it is not simple self-sabotage, a desire to fail. It is a specific fear response, triggered not by the possibility of failure, but by the possibility of what comes after success: the visibility, the responsibility, the changed relationships, the new expectations, the person you would have to become. That is what the brain is protecting you from. Here's where it starts. Success makes you visible, and visibility, real sustained visibility, is something the human brain has complicated feelings about. For most of human history, standing out from the group was dangerous. It attracted attention. It made you a target for envy, for challenge, for the aggression of those who felt threatened by your elevation. The brain's threat detection system still carries that ancient calibration. Psychologist Harriet Braiker, who studied success anxiety extensively, found that many high-achieving people carry a deep, largely unconscious belief that being too visible, too successful, too far ahead of the people around them will cost them something important: relationships, belonging, safety within the group. Success feels like stepping out of the protective shadow of anonymity. And for a brain still running on ancient social software, that feels like exactly the wrong direction. Here's the unexpected one. Success doesn't just change what you have. It changes what's expected of you. And for many people, those new expectations feel like a trap. Psychologists call this the burden of new identity. The person who succeeds is no longer the person who is struggling alongside everyone else. They become something else. Someone who should have answers. Someone who should maintain the success. Someone who can no longer claim the protective status of still trying. Research by psychologist Carol Dweck on identity and achievement shows that people with fixed self-concepts, who define themselves through a stable, familiar identity, are significantly more likely to self-sabotage at the point of breakthrough, because breakthrough means becoming someone different, and becoming someone different means losing the person you've always been. That loss, even when what's being lost is struggle and difficulty, registers in the brain as grief. You're not afraid of winning. You're afraid of who you have to be once you've won. Here's the layer that makes it feel most personal. Many people who fear success don't believe, at the deepest level, that they deserve it. Not intellectually. They can argue their credentials perfectly well. But emotionally, there is a quiet but persistent voice that says, when they find out who I actually am, this falls apart. Psychologists Pauline Clance and Clance Imes, who first documented imposter syndrome in 1978, found that this fear is not correlated with actual competence. The most capable people in a field are often the ones most convinced they're about to be exposed. And here's what makes it relevant to the fear of success specifically. If you believe success will expose you, then the closer you get to success, the more dangerous it becomes. The safest position from the imposter brain's perspective is perpetual, almost success, close enough to maintain the sense of self-worth, far enough from the finish line that the exposure never comes. Sabotage in this framework is not self-destruction, it is self-protection. Here's the one that surprises people most. For many people, particularly those who grew up in environments where success was rare or where achievement created distance from family and community, the fear of success is also a fear of betrayal. Psychologists call this survivor guilt in an achievement context. If the people you love didn't make it, if your family struggled, if your community stayed behind, then your success feels like an abandonment, like proof that you thought you were better than them. Like a door closing between you and the people who made you. This operates almost entirely below conscious awareness. The person doesn't think, I can't succeed because it would betray my family. They think, I'm just not ready yet. Or, this opportunity isn't quite right. Or, I need a little more time. But underneath those thoughts, the real calculation is loyalty. And the brain, faced with a choice between success and belonging, will choose belonging almost every time. So here's the picture. Fear of success is not about wanting to fail. It's about 4 specific things the brain is trying to protect. Your safety within the group, your familiar identity, your secret from being exposed, and your loyalty to the people you came from. Every time you get close and pull back, one or more of these protections is activating. And here's what's important to understand. None of these protections are irrational. At some point in your life, or in the lives of the people who shaped you, they were completely reasonable responses to real situations. Visibility was dangerous. Identity change meant loss. Exposure had real consequences. Loyalty had real costs. The fear is not the problem. The problem is that the protection is running in a context where it no longer applies. The group you're afraid of losing, most of them want you to succeed. The exposure you're afraid of, most of the time it reveals competence, not fraud. The identity you're protecting, it doesn't disappear when you grow, it evolves. The next time you find yourself pulling back from something you've been working toward, don't ask, why am I so weak? Ask instead, which of these 4 protections just activated? Because the answer to that question tells you something important, not about your weakness, about your history. The fear of success is almost always a protection system that was built for a past version of your life and never got the update that the danger has passed. You're not afraid of succeeding. You're afraid of what success meant in a context that no longer exists. And the moment you can see that clearly, the protection system stops feeling like a wall. It starts feeling like something you can walk through. If this video describes something you felt but never had a name for, share it with someone who will recognize themselves in it. And subscribe, because every week we take a fear, a behavior, a thing about being human that nobody explains, and show you exactly what's happening inside the brain.